Hello, everybody, and welcome to another crazy E3 Battlefield show now with the Diggity Boys and WASD Boys. All right. I am accompanied by Evan, Matt, Jeff, and Brody. And I didn't fuck up the audio.
Are we all doing this?
And we are working out while I do the intro. It's going to be a great time.
It's the Mega Dab.
Yeah.
It is the Mega Dab with all of the Diggity Podcast and WASD and Beyond podcast.
What is
Going.
How's it going, everybody? How was your guys' day so far?
best day ever?
Was that sarcasm?
No, and neither was that.
I'm still unsure.
Confused.
That didn't clarify
I'm excited
things.
for this. I'm excited for this, man. It's a good.
Yeah.
This is great. I mean, shit. We
It
got
was-
a new Battlefield, and it's
Oh,
mod.
it looks beautiful.
You sound so unsincere in that whole thing.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I'm excited about it. I'm gonna buy it. Absolutely. As soon as I can buy it, I will
Oh,
buy it.
Oh yeah.
You can
You can't
pre-order
buy
it
it.
now,
You can buy
and
it
you
right
can
now.
potentially have early access to the open beta.
Maybe.
So the funny thing I think is
I will
that
probably do through
me,
game share.
Oh, very nice.
But
That's smart.
me,
Nice.
Evan, Matt, and Jeff hopped on this morning right before 10 o'clock. We were
And
like, cool.
idiots.
Yeah, we didn't read
Yeah.
the fine print. We
We
were like,
were
all
all
right, cool. It's about to happen. It's about to happen. 10 o'clock rolls by, an hour countdown hits, which I was like, oh, it's going to take another minute. And Evan's like, that's not a minute, Nick.
That's an hour.
I did have to point that out to him.
That
where
was the
he was like,
best.
it's going to take another minute. I was like, Nick, there's 59:59. That is not a minute.
I feel like such a broken human being. Well, it doesn't help that last night I decided why not go 4 cups deep, full cups of whiskey deep, right?
Full
To-
cups, jeez.
Record the episode. And then at the end of the episode, me and Jeff are going, we have to fix the episode because
Yeah.
it's fucked
Yeah.
up.
He
Yeah.
went shit
So-
in the
And
pot,
one
dude.
of us was intoxicated, and it wasn't me.
Very much so. I was like, ooh. Jeff's like, do you know how to use Google Drive? And I'm like, instinctively, I said, no. Jeff's like, what the fuck do you mean
I like
you know how to
that.
use
I like it's instinctively. I said no. He always
Yeah.
says no, even if he knows what's
Oh, no,
going
yeah,
on.
he just denies everything.
Yeah, plausible deniability. I get it.
I was just like, no. Jeff's like, the fuck do you mean no? You literally like,
He's
you're
like, what
the
do you
fuck
mean?
Do you mean no?
don't know how to use Google Drive.
I was like, I don't know how to use Google Drive. I was
That shit
drunk.
was funny.
Jeff's like, make the email, put the files in the email, send me the files, Nick. I was like,
He's trying to download and finalize all the stuff from Zencaster, and Jeff's like, no, not that. No, the other one.
Dude.
Click that. Yes. Finalize that one.
shit was so fucking funny. But the episode's fixed because Jeff's a magician, and I was just there having a panic attack while drunk, going, "What am I supposed to do? I can't do it." And like the
Wow.
frustration and like just like everything going on with Jeff's like, I like this too, but if I could choke him through the computer screen for saying he didn't know how to use Google Drive, I would. I felt that.
Granted, it was also a 3-hour long episode, and we
Yeah.
had multiple hiccups along the way.
Yes.
Yeah, I think by the
certainly.
end of it, we're all like, I think we're done. I think we're done.
You could hear it at the end of the episode. Everyone's like, "Yeah, that's gonna be
Birdie
a cool
said
one."
it too. He's like, we're kind of losing steam. I was like, you're 100% right. Like this
Yeah.
is falling apart.
We
as
got
we
to
go.
Nintendo. We're like, yeah, they're gonna have a show. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, listen to Nintendo Pop Block if you want to hear about that, because that's not here. I was like, I don't care about Nintendo.
You don't
So,
know
this
anything
Battlefield
about
trailer.
Nintendo.
Would you like to tell
I
the
was
viewers
trying.
about
I
your?
was trying to segue into Battlefield, but fine, let's do this. Let's
Would you
do
like
this.
No, we don't
would
need
you
to
like
do
to tell
this. Let's
everybody
go into
about your-
Battlefield.
No, no.
Let's go into Battlefield.
I don't want to know. You've already.
The
you've
people are here for Battlefield, not Nintendo.
You know what you've done though? You've woken up the sickness, Wah! And now I gotta tell the story. I gotta tell the story.
This man's
I
broken.
have a Switch.
You didn't have to.
Yes, I have. I have a Switch, and Brody on one of the shows was like, "Yeah, I was using the touchscreen." I'm like, "There's a touchscreen on the Switch," and they were like, "What are you talking about?"
You didn't know?
And they're like, "How long have you had that for?" I'm like, "About a year." They're like, "Really?"
Pure disappointment.
Yeah, we snuck into your house and installed it while you were asleep.
Just a quick digitizer swap. It'll be fine. Don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
the Diggity podcast in a band. Like, we got to go teach this idiot how to use a Nintendo
lesson.
Squid.
Something that won't be
Oh
on
my
Switch though. Battlefield 2042.
Smooth
Let's
as
talk
butter.
about
Like
it. Let's
that,
go
like
right
that
into it.
segue.
That's a
I
very
do
nice
agree.
That was
segue.
very good.
Hey,
I like
thanks,
that.
guys.
That's
All
why
right.
you have a career in this field and I don't. Let's keep going. Let's hit it.
So, I mean, first off, if you could express how you feel about seeing the trailer before we kind of get into the details, just quickly in like a few words. I mean, what would everybody say real quick? Just like 3 words, maybe.
Horny. It's the only one I need.
Okay. I like that.
All
Evan?
right.
Right?
He's an honest man.
In a couple words, excited but cautious.
Yeah.
That about sums it up for me. Maybe
Same thing.
hyped as well. You know, pretty cool
Evan's
looking.
a pussy because this game's gonna be great. No need to be cautious.
I'm holding my breath just
As-
because of past experiences
Well,
with Battlefield games.
The last 2 Battlefield
Yeah,
games
I
have
know, I
not
agree.
been
yeah.
great. So
Here's
there
my
is
3 words.
definitely a reason for caution, but it does appear that they are returning to true Battlefield form.
Yeah. Nick, what would your words be? You just saw the trailer for the first time.
Motley Crew.
That's still 2 words. He gave us 3 fingers.
I gave us 3 syllables instead of 3 words.
Big Mac 103.
It looks great. I'm excited.
Yeah. I think the fact that, you know, a lot of that trailer was kind of based around things that have happened actually in Battlefield, like especially Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4,
Yeah.
predominantly that focus on these crazy, just unreal things that happen, like somebody jumping out of a jet, shooting a fucking rocket, blowing up another jet, and then landing back in their jet. That to me is like they're fully embracing what Battlefield is
badass.
about. This crazy
Yeah.
sandbox, like the only thing that was missing was the C4 on that ATV when they drove
Yes,
it into
I
that
was
That
about
would
to
have
helicopter.
been
say,
Like,
Michael
yeah.
Bay
I
moment.
mean, yeah, that's you got to have the C4 on there. But
Jeep stuff, as they called it in
Yeah.
think Battlefield 4. Yeah, they
we
called
would
it
just
Jeep stuff.
always hop in a Jeep, fucking throw C4 on it, and cruise around looking for a tank to blow up. Like
Yeah,
half the time
that's
we
what you
get
do.
shot 50 yards away, but it's fine.
Yeah. When you get it that one time, that's what you remember. Is like we
Yeah.
actually just blew up a tank with a Jeep. That was awesome.
I was an absolute C4 whore too. Like I'd throw it around buildings and sit there and wait in the building for somebody to run in and just blow
yeah.
the whole thing up. Like that's all I used. Fuck guns. I just want C4.
Best thing was
I'm
you would
excited.
have I was gonna say the best thing was you'd have a buddy who'd have C4 and he'd throw it on a tank and you'd be a recon with a literal like long range sniper rifle and you'd just shoot the C4 right in front of the tank and watch it blow up and you'd be like, ha! I killed you with a sniper rifle and an M1 Abrams. I kicked your ass. You watch him rage on the chat.
Yeah.
What were you
Dude,
saying?
I got excited for the like shipyard container map that's going to be happening.
Yes.
Like a close quarters type
That's
of map. That like that's going to be fucking sick. The weather effects they were showing off were really cool. Like the tornado or the twister or whatever it was. That's going to be sweet, I think.
Yeah, and they even talked about like sandstorms and things like. Well, I not really talked about it in the trailer because it was
The
a
Rude
5 minute.
sandstorm.
Yes,
Everybody's done it.
But it sounds like there's going to be other things that can happen as well, as we kind of talked about last night, as we kind of ventured into, you know, discussing what was going to happen today or what we thought was going to happen. But yeah, it seems like the weather and the what do they call them? Interactive elements throughout the maps and things like that are going to be very big in this. I mean, I remember from Battlefield 4 being able to bring home or down that whole skyscraper on the I don't remember
Siege
what
of
map
Shanghai?
that was.
Yeah.
Yep. And that was like always one of the coolest things. Like that starts coming down and everybody's parachuting off of it, and like then you land and it's an all new Warzone type stuff. And it seems like they're going full bore with that in this game, and it's gonna. I mean, I'm just so stoked.
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. Should we talk a little bit more about like what in terms of specifics, what's going on with gameplay and stuff like that? I think we should dive into it.
Yeah, we got a pretty hefty list of things that were released from a press debrief, actually. That must have had an NDA until today when the trailer actually fully launched. So this information, I don't know how you guys want to split this up because the Google Docs in there, but this information is from Jack Frags on YouTube. So we'll go ahead and give him a shout out. Not that he needs it. He's doing just fine. But regardless,
Shout
that's
out Jack Frags.
Give us. I'd like to say real quick before we jump into it, though, thank you to Brody for making all these notes. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, Brody, you fucking are the king.
I remember Brody earlier was like, I couldn't help it. I had to make it. He's like, I probably spent 24 minutes on a 12-minute video. And I was like, this is why you were appreciated more than anybody else.
I'm the notes guy. It's what I do.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I
So
appreciate it.
if you guys want to roll through this or however you guys want to do it, go for it.
Yeah. Anybody want to start?
Oh,
I can
Landon
go ahead.
does.
Sounds like
not everybody
Landon
at
wants to
once.
start. Yeah.
I'll start.
Yeah.
I can go ahead. Okay,
All right.
go ahead, Jeff.
So this has been in development for 3 years. We also learned that the latest Frostbite tech will be used with an entirely new physics engine. So that's awesome to see. And we're excited for the gameplay trailer, which is Sunday at an undisclosed time so far. So
The 13th. Yeah, the 13th.
we all kind of believe that it's going to be during the Microsoft
I'm really
That would
hoping
be my
not.
guess.
conference.
No, we talked about it as it being. You weren't here, Nick, when we talked about it that way, but we were like, it would be a part of the Xbox. It's not
What
like
about
a separate.
PC Gamer though?
I would have.
Or is that Saturday?
It could be at PC Gamer, but
Oh,
I would
yeah.
bet it's probably going to be at the Microsoft show.
Yeah,
Considering
that'd be a
Microsoft's
safe bet.
pretty tight with EA right now.
With the Game Pass and EA being a bundle
Oh,
together,
that's right.
yeah,
Yeah,
that would
that's
make
super
sense.
true,
Yeah.
And then it's going to be multiplayer only with story elements built into the maps. So I mean, what do we think about that? We cool with that?
No,
Battle Royale.
I'm kind of disappointed in the lack of a story mode.
Eh.
To be honest, like I don't play Battlefield and Call of Duty games for the story, but at the same time, like if there's not a story, it's like okay, a missing part of the game.
It's a $70 price
I-
tag too, right? So
I mean,
I think so. Yeah.
it's no different than buying like an Overwatch where there's no story mode.
It's
just
60
a
for the
multiplayer.
standard. It's 60
You're
bucks
not
for the
wrong.
standard edition.
For
It's-
last gen.
Yeah.
yeah,
You're not
Next
wrong.
gen will be 70.
It will be.
yeah, it's $70 for PS5 and Xbox Series X and S.
Oh, sorry. Then yeah, sorry. I've only been seeing it on the fucking PC side of things, so it's 60 bucks on PC. So
Okay,
I didn't even
okay.
realize that. Okay,
More
More
that
perks
makes more
of
sense.
buying a PC. All right, you get a $10 discount.
Yeah, you guys
Yeah.
let me know when you can't find the fucking $2,000 graphics card to run this bitch too.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a hefty
Your bill-
boy.
your
right
bill-
Hey,
here.
it's only going to be a $1,990 graphics card after that $10 savings, okay? Making money moves over here.
$3,500 for the build, but I get the game for 60 bucks.
We're
right.
making money hand over
Worth
fist.
Worth it. So, like, is everybody actually okay with that? Like the multiplayer only? I'm fine with it. I don't really give a shit. I mean, that's all I would be playing.
Yeah, like I'm a little
I'm cool with
disappointed
that.
about it, but I think it's still fine, you know? As long as
Oh.
it's a good game.
I like that they said though, as even though there's just multiplayer, that there's still going to be story elements and narrative built into the maps themselves. And like if you go to the website, they have their like how we got here section, so it kind of gives like a 10-year timeline of like what led up to this moment. So I like that there's still like there's a narrative here to get you kind of invested. But I think one of the game directors, there was an interview on Inverse I read earlier today where one of the guys talking about it, like a developer at DICE, was just like, you have to play the game to learn more about what's going on in this world, and that as you know the battle passes come and go and stuff like that, the story's going to change and there's going to be more updates as to like what's going on in the world around you. So like I like that they're still keeping a narrative, but I really don't. It would be nice to see like a campaign, but I'm not upset over it. It's like whatever, we can move on.
Sure.
They don't historically have the greatest campaigns anyway, so
No.
it's
They
not a huge
don't.
Right,
loss,
yeah.
but
Do you think they're leaving themselves open right now to just let's get this game out, right? And later on down the road, maybe give us
DLC.
content that would, be indicative of a single player, campaign.
Yeah.
either,
I mean,
or
there's no
they could
battle
even
royale
do
either.
like the co-op missions,
Not
like
yet.
they've done in the
That'd be
past.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would be more on board with that than I would single player anyway. I like the co-op.
I'd be
mission
cool
style.
with that too. Yeah,
Battlefield 3 co-op, like that little campaign.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. My dad and
I'd
I
like
did
to
that
see
not too
that.
long ago. We played through the campaign again like 6 months ago. So it's like you can come back to it. It's fun. But yeah, I mean, I guess personally I'm happy with it being multiplayer only because there's not a battle royale that they're immediately showing off with it.
Yeah, not yet.
They said that
He'll be
they
like
said that the-
tornadoes that come in or whatever.
Yeah.
Kill everybody.
they said that there are new game modes that we didn't see and that we might not see on like Sunday as well for the gameplay reveal. One of them is called Hazard Zone, And that same interview on Inverse, the same dev said that it'll scratch that battle royale itch, but it is not in essence a battle royale. There's no randomly dropping onto a section. It's all squad based gameplay, but it will still somewhat scratch that itch that people might want from like, a Warzone or Fortnite style of game.
Yeah, it's a squad focused gameplay of some sort. But yeah, again, we'll see more on both Sunday and then during the July EA Play.
Then they said they're showing off a new mode on that as well too. They're showing off like Hazard Zone, and there's a completely new one that we don't know the name of yet.
I'll get to that.
We got moving on with the brief notes here. So we got a main game mode, and that'll be called All Out Warfare. So on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series S and X, they'll have support for 128 player battles, while PS4 and Xbox One will only support 64 players, and overall smaller maps as well. So
Okay.
has to happen. I mean,
there's no
impossible, as it would say.
This is one of those this is one that you almost recommend buying the gold version just so you get that next gen upgrade or whatever, because this is going to be a game that's, as people can find PS5s and Xbox more readily, it's going to be something people are going to want that upgrade for. So it's $10 more, but you got to buy the $70 version and you should be fine. So
yeah.
Right.
And then other game modes, looks like the dog tag system is going to return, as seen in the trailer, where what appears to be a Russian man stabs a fellow Canadian and then steals his dog tags.
Should have stuck to hockey.
Yep.
he wouldn't have gotten his dog tag stolen if he didn't run away. I'm just saying. Yeah,
you let us Americans just sit there and get dusted.
I mean,
everybody got ruined in that container. Yeah, wow. Everybody they got decimated.
Then there's the system for guns, which allows you to change your weapons configuration on the fly for different fighting styles. So this includes stuff, customizations for scopes, for barrels, different ammo types, and under barrel attachments. So that's neat. It's great.
That is really cool.
Awesome stuff for the game.
They were talking about like if you're in a big open area, you can have like that ACOG scope, and then you run into a smaller area and you can switch to just a red dot or something like completely on the fly within seconds. Like that's
okay on the
addition.
While you're alive,
kind of like Crisis.
Not during respawn after you died and shit. That's
yeah.
I imagined it would be like Crisis, where you pull your gun up and you can just change things. Like you can click and pick. Like I want to change my scope to this.
Imagine how dope that's going to be. Like when you're doing like warfare outside, and then you have to go in a building, maybe there's no power in the building, and then you kind of
turn a flash.
You switch all your shit on to like night vision.
Yeah,
that'd be
cool.
That'd be awesome.
Like your squad's like, everybody get your night vision on. Let's go.
Going dark.
Bravo
We're
6
going dark.
Yeah.
And then we also saw that you can play with or against AI, and progression will be enabled against AI as well. So that's kind of neat. I mean, I don't know how good the AI are going to be with all those crazy mechanics. But
it'll be good for newbies though, like people who are new to that whole series, and like even just unlock some new stuff too. I mean, just like going in with iron sight sucks. Play a game against AI and maybe unlock a red dot or something like that.
Yeah,
right,
for sure.
I'm curious if they're going to maybe half like the same amount of progression you'd get against playing against real players, like. Just that way people can't
that's a good
go into an AI mode and then
system.
just, game it. And on top of that, too, it could also be like you can progress, but like you just said, like unlock a new site. Maybe you can only progress to a certain point. And then it's like, no, you have to play the actual game. You can't just sit and play against AI for like to get to level 100, whatever you can do. So maybe they'll do something like that, too. But.
And then in the trailer, there's a huge emphasis on vehicles. And during the debrief, they found out it'll be easier to get vehicles in past games, and you can even call them to be dropped to your location. And each seat in the vehicles also will serve a valuable purpose versus Battlefield 6 or 5 and 1, 5-1.2.
All of them.
All of them where it's like, hey, there's a tank, or people are in a tank. What do I get to do? Sit here.
You get to look outside. I mean... out a small little slit.
or be human shield and just sit outside the tank while people pick you off.
Yeah, that is also an option.
That's the best part.
Yes.
That's my rule.
And then we're told that these are the biggest maps in Battlefield history. And Evan, you posted something, I believe, about map size.
Yes, a couple different things. The biggest map in the game currently of the 7 they've shown was the Antarctica map, the first map you see in the trailer.
Hoth.
That is the size. That is the size of Vikendi, which is a battle royale map from
PUBG.
PUBG. I couldn't even think of the name. But to just kind of go into it a tad bit further, the way some people were wording it as that got insider knowledge or like new things about it was that. For Conquest, for instance, there are going to be 5 sectors, and each sector itself is going to be around the size or scale of a Battlefield 3 map. So take 5 of those, put that into a Battlefield 2042 map. There you go. That's what you're getting.
They also talked about like one of the maps has a stadium in the middle of it, and it might have 2 points on it. And in order to control that sector, you actually have to control both points of that stadium.
Yeah, so there's flags inside the individual sectors as well. So you don't control the sector until you control all of the flags. Yeah, which I think is pretty neat.
With like the size of the map, you think with the 128 players, you think it's gonna get like it's gonna move from crazy firefights in certain areas to like more, strategic plays?
I think it will definitely be a good mixture of both, because I think you're still going to have your choke points. There's going to be people running into tunnels and people dying left and right? But I think you'll still have your snipers all over the place, so you run for 40 minutes to get to where you want to go and then get sniped instantly. I think the way that Battlefield usually shakes down with these larger players, I mean, even with 64 and smaller maps, like you get a good variety of gameplay, and especially if you can spawn on squad mates and stuff, and you can kind of pick and choose what kind of combat you really want to see more of.
Yeah, they kind of showed like what I got from like just everything I've read or watched today, along with the trailer, is that like Sector A on that, desert style map will be maybe more of like a close quarters thing inside that stadium, or like a little bit medium to short range. And then it's like you're in the city though, and it's like, okay, well now you're going through like these major skyscrapers, you're on the roofs or whatever, that kind of thing. So like you're gonna have a bit more long range stuff. So like I think that'll be really interesting to see how you might play on one map and you might have just a completely different experience from somebody else, because it's like, oh, I was in sector B the whole time, so like that was all close quarters. It's like, oh, I was in D and I only sniped, and that's all it called for. I couldn't get close to anyone. So like I think that'll be kind of interesting.
An interesting mechanic that's making its way into the series now also is map hazards. So tornadoes, sandstorms, all that kind of good stuff can happen on different maps. We got to look at it in the trailer. Seems pretty crazy. I hope personally it's not like I hope it's like I hope it's a super rare thing. I hope it's not like every time you're on that map it goes off. To be honest with you,
that would lose its whole thing to
Yeah.
me. Like if
I
it
thought you
happened
were
here
gonna
and
do
there,
that, though.
cool. Yeah, I think that's a good way of showing off the destruction, like element of the game through the new Frostbite. You throw like a tornado or a sandstorm, and like when that storm is done, like the aftermath of that storm, leaving all the destruction. I think that's going to look cool for us to see how this engine's really working with itself.
Yeah, I agree with Jeff, though. I mean, if it happens every time, that's going to get real old real quick. It's going to be sporadic.
They could do it right where it's like, maybe you play one session and it happens in the first 5 minutes, right, into the session. But then, because the maps are all in different sections, right? And then maybe, like, instead of you getting to the second section of the map and it happens at the fourth. I mean, that's kind of acceptable. But to be honest with you, I would like it to be almost kind of like a rare event where, like, you may have played that map like 5 times, but it doesn't happen. Like the tornado in what appears to be a city in Japan, doesn't happen every single time on the map, because I think that would kind of ruin the mechanic and also kind of be a pain in the ass. And I think people would just kind of strategize around that exact time that it would happen.
So like I was just about to say, that'd be really interesting too if it's completely, so like you said, one, it's rare in the first place, so it might not even happen on that specific time you're playing, but then also it's like you said earlier, it could show up in 5 minutes on this sector, or it just, maybe, I mean, with how big these maps are too, we got to honestly say, maybe you're in sector E and you're fighting underground this entire time, and this tornado happens and, runs from sector B to C. You don't even know it's there for your time of the game, or like you only see the aftermath of it, right?
Do we know if you can like call in like a tornado. That sounds stupid, but like if there's like
I'm
No,
really
you
hoping
can't
that's
control
not
and
it.
shit.
You can't do that. I think it's completely random. I think
Okay.
it's going to be like just a
I think
100%
I would hope so.
chance sort of thing.
I think it'd be really cool to start on a map that maybe the tornado has come through already too.
Yeah,
That'd be
That
sweet.
would be
Where it's
interesting,
like
yeah.
Yes,
you
agree.
spawn in and it's like everything's already destroyed. I think that'd be
Destroyed,
kind of
yeah.
neat.
Yeah.
The other thing they need to make sure they don't fuck up this time, like they did in Battlefield 1, is these need to be server side and not client side. Because
Yes.
I remember playing the sand level in Battlefield 1, and you can't see shit, and your buddy sees perfectly fine because he doesn't have the sandstorm. Because for some godforsaken
yeah.
reason, they thought it was okay to put it client side instead of server side.
Yeah,
That's a
kinda
problem.
stupid.
So
That's
hopefully
a
they don't make
problem.
that again. That's not good.
Along with these hazards as well, you can also, for instance, as we saw in the trailer, for the tornadoes, at least, I don't know what you're going to be able to do with maybe the sandstorms or whatever other sort of hazards they come up with. We've only seen, I think, tornadoes and storms and sandstorms right now, but I'm sure that with more maps being added, we might see earthquakes, hurricanes, just all sorts of crazy shit like that. But you can use like the tornadoes if you have a wingsuit, for instance, you can use that to your advantage, and you can actually fly up through the tornado, which doesn't make any sense at all. There's no way that would work, but you can actually do it
I'm
in
fine with it. Fuck it.
Battlefield. I think that'd be pretty
It's
sweet.
Battlefield, man.
Yeah, no, I think it's sweet, but I think it'll be. I think that's pretty interesting too. Is that it's not just like in Battlefield 4 where it's like this thing would happen, you couldn't do anything about it, it just sort of happened to you. I think it's pretty cool that like this tornado comes through, but if you're playing as the specialist with a wingsuit, that actually benefits you if you want to try, versus someone who
Yeah.
maybe doesn't have anything, you just get sucked up and you die or whatever.
Yeah, like I get sucked up in my fucking tuk-tuk. And
Yeah,
I
like-
get
yeah.
thrown, 600 feet
What?
across, Tokyo. It's great.
There you go.
Stoked.
Perfect.
I actually think that was
That'd
a
be kinda
city
funny.
in South Korea, I believe, in the
I think it
map.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It looked like Korean on the sign. So anyways, yeah, destruction and interactive map elements certainly be a big part of the game, like we said with those environmental things. And then 7 maps were shown off with very different terrain and interactive elements, and they're all set in completely different countries. I think we had Egypt, South Korea,
Antarctica. I mean, that's just,
Antarctica.
um,
London.
I know.
no, there's no London. There was French Guinea.
Shanghai.
The rocket ship map, the space, the rocket on the pad, that was in French Guinea. I think there's 2 that are in South Korea. I think
Okay.
there's that one we saw in the city, and then there was another one as well. And then there's one in India. That's the one with like the big cargo containers that are
So
beached.
cool.
And I think that
Orbital is French Guinea, which that's the rocket ship launching.
Uh-huh.
Hourglass is in Qatar, which is the one with the stadium. Kaleidoscope is in South Korea, which I believe that's the one with the tornado that we saw.
yeah, that was it.
Manifest is in Singapore.
That's the cargo container one.
Yep. Discarded is in India. That's the one with the giant battleship or cargo
Cargo
carrier
ship,
there in the
yeah.
middle. Yeah, that is skeletonized. Breakaway is in Antarctica, and Renewal is the Egypt map.
I think that was the only one we didn't see in the trailer, right? The renewal. I don't think we saw that at all.
I don't think we saw much of it. It doesn't. It's weird because it's like one side of the map is like green grass and crops, and the other side is sand.
Looks like solar panels too on the left.
Yeah,
there.
solar panels and stuff. So I don't think we saw much of this map, but yeah,
Still looks cool.
I believe that's supposed to be one of the smaller maps. Is the Egypt map, which is still, I mean, enough to hold 128 people. So
Yeah, I'll have to say,
Yeah.
small on this scale is still
small
said
is
the,
still massive.
They said that Orbital was a medium-sized map in relation to this game. So medium for this could be large in Battlefield 4 comparison, or Battlefield 1 or 5.
Yeah,
What's
the one they said
comparison
was
to
the
PUBG
medium.
maps, like size.
Antarctica-
Each other.
The Antarctica is the largest one, and that's the one that's the same size as the PUBG map.
Yeah,
So
they didn't.
8 by 8 kilometers.
That one
right,
was
yeah.
smaller, I think. I think the Vikendi
Was that
map
one of
was
the
smaller.
smaller
No,
ones?
Vikendi is the bigger one. It's
Is
the
that
original.
normal one. Okay,
Yeah,
I can never remember.
I think
but
so.
I try to forget my time.
Yeah, I
with
don't.
the
I,
game.
I don't. I block.
we
it out
all
of my
try to
memory.
forget our time with PUBG.
I block it out of my memory. I hate that game.
But yeah, they said the medium-sized map is bigger than the largest map from Battlefield 4, I believe.
which is big.
That's
Right,
that's
which
still
is
pretty damn sizable.
Huge.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
And then you'll play as different specialists and classes in typical Battlefield fashion. Each class will have special gadget and traits that can only be used by that class, but weapons will be open to all classes. So those classes are Assault, Engineer, Support, and Recon. And 4 examples of the total 10 specialist gadgets and traits are a grappling hook for the Canadian Assault class. Let's go. They should have thrown a hockey stick in there also. A gun that can heal and revive for the German Support class. A turret for the Russian Engineer class. An OVP recon drone gadget that can automatically hover, be controlled for the South African recon class. The wingsuit shown in the reveal trailer will be tied to a specific specialist. So, I mean, that's neat. That's pretty cool. Like, you guys will see me out there with my grappling hook, just throwing that into people's eyes.
Right.
Fucking
be
Jeff
sweet.
scorpioning people in
Yeah, I
Battlefield.
won't use it to get up
over
buildings. I'll
here.
just throw it into someone's skull.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Evan, Nick, and I were talking earlier today about some of this, and like people were up in arms about the whole specialist thing because they're like, "Oh, well, we don't want a hero shooter like Overwatch or like some of the Call of Duties," but that's
Right.
not entirely what this is. And I think the idea of them unlocking all weapons to all classes was a brilliant idea because that's something I kind of hated in some of the older games. Like, I don't, just because I'm a medic doesn't mean I want to use a submachine gun. I still want to snipe people and have a pistol as a backup. Like, so unlocking that was a great idea and a better way to kind of make it more approachable for anybody and everybody. But I think the specialist thing isn't going to be a major deal. It's going to be like, hey, if I want to be fucking Spider-Man and have a grappling hook, I guess I'll just play as the Canadian, because the whole premise of this is that all of the people that you're playing as no longer have allegiance to a country. So these people, you can be on any faction, whatever, it doesn't matter, and now you can play as this specialist from what I understand. So it shouldn't, you can, regardless of which team you're on, it doesn't really matter. You should be able to access, I would assume, all of the specialists. But
Yeah, I think it opens up the gameplay too for a lot of people, like you said, where it's, if I want to be a medic, maybe I want to have an LMG to lay down cover fire, so I get people across like a certain street or whatever, and then like something like that, or like as a medic, maybe I want to have more smoke grenades or more things enabled to give me cover, so that way I can get my my buddies up, instead of it just being like, oh, can you get me medic? It's like, I can't. Why? It's long range. Well, I have a submachine gun. Why? The game told me to. I couldn't pick anything better.
Yeah.
So like, I like that idea of it's going to give people more opportunities, which gives people more moments, like we saw in the trailer, of like those only in Battlefield situations. So yeah, that looks pretty sweet.
And then, like most of the industry right now, this will be a live services game with a battle pass featuring a free and paid tier. All gameplay affected items will be in the free tier, while the paid tier will be the cosmetics. The battle pass will push the story along as well. And we got details on that. So the first year will consist of 4 seasons of battle passes that will include new specialists, location, and content. More will be revealed about the battle pass prior to launch as well. So
I'm cool with that battle pass. I like that.
I'm
it's
fine with it. I mean, it sounds like it's going to be
free
really
stuff is
Warzone
fine.
style. So like whatever.
Right.
like
As
all
long as you're
paid is
not-
cosmetic.
Yeah, exactly. As long as you're not locking off like guns and
Specialists.
specialists and stuff like that, right? Let everyone have access to that stuff. If you want to pay extra for fucking cosmetics, go ahead.
Exactly.
mean-
That's what I like.
You're going to have the battle pass for the new specialists.
no, from the way they're describing it, it sounds like the specialists would be considered gameplay. So I would assume that they should be able to be unlocked from the free tiers, kind of like how Call of Duty does it now, where you can get the
Yeah.
guns. But the only thing is, there probably will be an XP boost if you do buy the battle pass.
Yeah, I
It's not
guarantee
most of
there
them
will
work.
be.
It's pretty small, but it's still enough,
Well,
right?
it depends too
Yeah.
how much. Like I know COD, if you get the battle pass bundle, you get 20 free tiers, which instantly unlocks one of the guns.
Yeah, it's
in
also like
Warzone.
fucking $25, $30.
Yeah, it's $20. Yeah, so it's a bit more expensive.
Don't like that.
I think
No.
that I like that you're getting those 4 seasons. That first year is getting the 4 seasons of battle passes and stuff like that. And I like that we're getting 4 operators for the first, or 4 specialists. Sorry, thinking of Siege. 4 specialists for the first year. So I think that's really cool, and I don't mind that it's like, I mean, it's standard, right? You get the free shit is all stuff that every player should have, and then if you want to get the cosmetics, like who knows, they might have a special melee weapon for the Canadian that's a hockey stick, right? And it's like just for
God,
shits
I
and
hope
giggles.
They don't do that.
Yeah.
Whatever. It'll
I
be
hope they
something
do.
stupid. They'll make a grappling hook out of like skate blades or something like that, and Brody.
Yes.
Listen,
Brody
I'm
just
talking
that the shit up.
Oh fuck
a
yeah!
little hockey stick, like a little one, but it's a knife.
Sharpen.
Like a mini,
you know what I'm saying?
mini hockey stick, like those little
Yeah,
plastic
like
ones.
Just go for
And then
the
he just
full on
goes,
skate.
There's a scythe.
Yeah, or just
Yeah,
have a
dude.
Just has a
skate, like
skate, and he whips it around on
The
the
Canadian
by the
Grim Reaper.
shoestrings.
You guys
and
still
fucking
haven't
hits
caught
people
on
with it.
that he can't die because he has universal health care. He's immune.
What are you trying to
It
say
costs
here,
him
Jeff?
nothing. He's immune. Then we got notes on two other
let's move on.
experiences available at launch. So you got Hazard Zone, which is an entirely new game mode with high-stake, tight squad gameplay. This is not a battle royale. And then the other game mode coming is, the other experience coming is that is being developed by DICE. Sorry, I'm fucking up. Hazard Zone experience is being developed by DICE LA. And it's
No, there's another experience that's coming that's being developed by DICE LA.
Oh, was it named?
It's not named.
It's
yet.
not named
Oh,
yet. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, it's described as
Yeah,
a
I
love
didn't know how
letter.
to word it, but I was like, I don't know.
No, whatever.
Brody, you did a fantastic
Yes,
job.
you did a great job. It was
Very
described
good.
as a love letter to fans of the franchise, specifically longtime fans. Not much more was revealed at the moment, but more will be shown at the EA Play event in July, which that's July 22nd for that EA.
Now
Play
that
event.
one is going to be the battle royale.
no.
I will stab you in the throat.
They have.
They're gonna
there
have
was
to
a-
make a battle royale.
There was
Battle
something at
royales
the end
are
of it.
dying off, right?
Yeah, during
No.
the Q&A, there's
Yeah,
a part where they talk about it, and they said they are not working on a battle royale.
They said there's no plans at all at this time to work on anything related. They don't have
Good.
anything in
And
the works.
that's the next note.
Yep.
So the Q&A portion at the end of the press debrief, no battle royale. There will be an under NDA tech test and open beta before launch. Nothing about a free-to-play experience at launch, but that isn't ruled out for later in the game's life. This will be running on dedicated servers. There's no mention of community games, cross-play, or anti-cheat. And squad size does appear to still be 4 players. So, everyone okay with all that stuff?
Sad.
Squad size.
Squad size could definitely
I
be.
wish that was upped a little bit, considering the
Yeah.
amount of
6?
people that are going to be on server.
I think 6 would be a nice
Double
sweet
it.
spot.
Okay, go straight to
Go to 8.
Look
I mean,
at
if you
this
got-
guy.
You got 2 teams
Custom
of
squads. Why don't
64.
you just do custom squads? Like, you want 10
Yeah.
people in your squad? Put 10 people in your squad. You know?
I mean, there is a little bit of gameplay advantage to having the squad because you can spawn on
You can
them.
spawn,
Right.
yeah. So
Right. If you
could-
just
could
have like
make 10.
one mega squad, right? That's
Right.
That would be so
One
funny,
squad
though,
of
for
64.
I mean, we'll
So a
see.
fucking team. You have a team.
Yeah, we'll see how they want to do it because you have. I mean, with just 4-player squads for 128 players, that's 32. Or wait, am I fucking this up? No, I'm sorry because it's still 64 per team. I'm sorry, I screwed that up. So how many squads can you have? 16.
16.
So how many could you have with 8-player squad? You have 8. I mean,
8.
they might.
8's not bad though. I mean,
Yeah, I don't
I
think
don't
that's.
think it's bad
I
at
don't think
all.
that's
because
too
half
bad.
the time you end up with 4 of them that have like one person in there anyway.
That's
you know?
true. Yeah,
Mhm.
there's always like just
Even
there's always
Landsberg.
there's squads at the bottom that have 1 or 2 people in them, and it's like then there's depending on how it goes, you might have a guy who can't get into any squad because they're all full. So who
Yeah.
knows how it's gonna get
The
worked around?
only part of this that I don't care to see is the no mention of crossplay, but it's still early. So just because
Yeah.
they haven't mentioned it doesn't mean that it won't have it necessarily. But
Right.
Yeah.
and EA has come out and said that all of their games going forward will have crossplay. So it's very likely this will have crossplay. It just hasn't been addressed yet,
Mhm.
but we'll see.
I'm thinking it will.
I think
I would think it would.
I also don't think this is too big of a deal just because it wasn't brought up of like the no mention of anti-cheat. I don't really think it's all on dedicated servers and stuff like that. So I really don't know how big of a deal is it that we hear about it, right? I guess is like am I kind of feeling on it? And then community games, were they speaking in terms of like community games, like shit that we can just create together in terms of modded
Custom
servers, or
games,
like
Yeah, I would assume
Okay.
custom game.
because I wasn't
type deal.
some people were asking about and talking about how like clans that have been established and groups that have been established for like Battlefield 4, 3, 1 could rent their own servers that are
I
dedicated
fucking
from
hate
Battlefield.
that.
Nope,
though.
not
So they
anymore,
can
you
make-
nerds.
They can make their own rules and stuff like that.
Yeah,
People
you
were asking
like
about
spawn
that.
in and use a weapon they don't like, and you get booted out of it, especially late in the game's life. Like that sucks because there's only a few
anymore,
servers
you
going on. You know.
True. Yeah.
Right, and they monopolized it pretty much.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then we got to look at the pre-order offers. So you can get the standard edition, which gives you early access to open beta, the Baku ACB 90 Epic Melee Takedown Knife
From Battlefield 3,
That's a
I guess.
mouthful.
It's
the
The ACB 90 is
apparently-
from 3, and then
Yeah.
Baku was just like I think a nod to 4 because that's the first mission in 4.
Yeah.
the My Chompy Epic Weapon Charm. So we're gonna get charms on your gun.
Hooray.
Microtransactions.
Cosmetics.
You gotta
from the
pad out that
Pass.
battle pass, man.
Yep. And then the Landfall player card background and old guard tag. In the gold edition, you're going to get old items from the standard edition, obviously, and then you're going to get early access to game launch, year 1 pass, and you're going to get the cross-gen bundle, which what Brody said, if you have a PS4 or an Xbox One right now, and you can't find a new system, you should probably get this if you intend on getting the next gen.
Okay, that's what I mean.
Then the
makes
Ultimate
sense.
Edition, you get all items from Standard and Gold Edition, but then you get the Midnight Ultimate Bundle. Do we have an idea of what's all in the Midnight Ultimate Bundle or no?
The Midnight Ultimate Bundle is a new skin. It looks like for the recon operator, the South African guy with the drone, and then also you get a skin for Ranger, the robot dog, or as some people have called it that we know. We forgot to mention Ranger, who's the robot dog, or you can call him Spot, or as some people in our Discord have started to call him Chappy Dog.
Chappy Dog,
yeah,
yeah.
it is right.
Chappy Dog.
It's the Boston Robotics.
Dynamics.
Boston
yeah.
Dynamics,
That's what I
yeah.
said. That's what I said earlier on Evan on the phone. I was like, it's kind of like that, but with the
Yeah, but
fucking
he's got
gun
a
outside.
20 millimeter machine gun on top.
Yeah.
Boston Dynamics could have that.
Yeah, they're
I've been around
only a
one of those
step
things
away.
in real
Don't worry
life.
about
Those
it.
things are fucking creepy. Not a fan.
Have you really?
Yeah. It's fucked up. They're fucking weird, bro.
They're creepy.
Yeah, because the guy's standing there and he's like using it and controlling it. And it acts just like a dog. I mean, it comes in prancing like a stupid robot fuck, like just like prancing on all 4 feet. And then
Good
when it
lord.
goes like this, like it tilts down like a dog, you can imagine like
Like
a
it's
tail
ready?
on the back of it. But then you can also imagine like it tucking down and all of a sudden like this gun comes out and just like starts just, it's terrifying.
It's like a
It's
RoboCop
freaky.
scenario.
I mean,
Yeah,
it was
really.
at like a logistics trade show or whatever. This guy's like walking it around the trade
this shit
show,
out.
comes over to me or whatever. I'm like a meeting with somebody. I'm like, that shit's creepy. I don't like that. He's like, isn't this great? I'm like, this shit's scary, man. I don't like that stuff. I don't.
Don't like
Jeff's a
that one.
cat
like
person.
that.
You get a robo
Sky
cat,
Net.
he's in.
I mean, this could have had cat ears on it. But the entire time I'm looking at it, I'm like, this thing's gonna kill me one day.
Yeah, they're going to slave us.
This is it. It's gonna one day it's gonna be bringing me like stupid shit off Amazon that I buy, and then the next day it's gonna be coming to my house with a fucking badge and telling me to get my shit out of my house. 'Cause it's gonna take it over.
Yeah. Haven't you people watched fucking Terminator? Don't you know how this goes?
This is sounding a lot like iRobot with
Listen, it's all fine until it's not. All right.
That's right.
Yeah. And then you also get the official digital art book and exclusive digital soundtrack with the Ultimate Edition. Overall, the game's launching October 22nd. Early access starts on October 15th. It's kind of a bummer. And official gameplay is shown off on Sunday the 13th. That's this Sunday, June 13th. And again, we maybe think it might be during the Xbox keynote, considering the partnership with EA. So
So what do you guys?
Yeah, that'd be a
only
good
thing
bet.
I'm bummed out about is the early access is October 15th. I
I was just about to bring that up.
yeah.
I wish it was like, September would be nice. I mean, I don't know.
You want a whole month of
No, I want like the ability for people to jump in for like a weekend. But I
right,
don't want
okay.
Yeah,
it to
you
be,
get a
like-
week early access for paying like $10. Well, it's
Yeah,
probably $20
yeah.
more for the
I
gold
can-
edition.
Yeah,
I'll
like
look
I
up
want
the
the
prices
ability
right
to
now.
get into like, early access betas or something like that, or early access crew gets in and you can kind of play it like this weekend, and then they close down
Yeah.
for a week, go into the next weekend, and then you have the early access. But I don't know. Maybe they will do that. Maybe we'll have a bunch of open betas and it'll be an easy open beta to get into. I highly doubt it, but
it's gonna be a pain.
or
in the
sorry,
fucking
closed
ass.
the closed
Everyone.
betas that they have.
I was gonna say,
yeah,
the open
closed
betas
betas.
usually aren't too bad, but the
Well, they
closed
said
betas are a nightmare.
They haven't revealed if there's going to be, as far as like we said in the notes, the only thing, the technical playtest takes place next month, and they said that's very much just testing loading times, servers. It's in a gray box environment, so it's not built to how like what you're going to see in the open beta. It's all just testing stuff, and that's they said that's mainly reserved for Battlefield veterans, which at first I was like, could that mean me, because I have every Battlefield since Bad Company 2 and even before that. So it's like, what does that mean for me? They said that's
YouTubers,
developers.
They said it's the
I
they said it's going to be the player
TikTokers.
council. They said it's going to be the player council, and when I looked at what the player council was, that's a part of EA's Game Changers program, which is not necessarily like, I don't think there's so much as content creators, but they
whales.
are.
It's the people who gave them an assload of fucking money in their time for free.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to find
battle
the
pass
additions here, just for price point. I think for PC, you can get.
Where are all the prices for these editions?
So for PC, it is $60 for the base game, $90 for the gold edition, and then $110 for the ultimate edition. That's on Steam. It should be the same on Origin. Or
I wish they gave you
Epic.
a proper art book, not a digital one, or a digital copy and a physical copy of an art book. I miss those days. Like I remember when I bought GTA 5, I got like an art book. I got a bunch of cool shit.
You got like the full size map and shit.
Yeah, we got full size map. I got a soundtrack thing, but it was all like physical. Like, I could pick it up.
Yeah, you can like collect it.
Yeah. The digital stuff is just like, okay, I've got a file on my computer. This is fantastic. Thank you. It's just kind of a bummer.
Here's the PlayStation 5 prices.
Okay.
So the PlayStation 5, the standard edition is $69.99. The Ultimate Edition is $119.99.
Jesus.
And the Gold Edition is $99.99.
So everything's $10 more.
Yeah, and then the PS4 version is $59.99. So it lines up with PC prices, right?
I mean, so in a couple ways, I mean, this isn't any different really from Battlefield 3 and 4, where you'd pay for premium, because you'd pay premium, which you'd pay around $120, and you would get all 5 DLCs that were coming out through the game's life. I mean, that's the nice thing for this is that, you're paying, and you're not getting just like the first battle pass. You're getting the whole first year of shit for you.
Right.
So, I mean, and that could be taken in some ways where people are like, fuck yeah, I'm going to do that because I'm so hyped for it. And others are going to be like, I might wait and then just buy the year one pass if I can separate, because I got to see if the game's alive first, right? Like, if it doesn't flop. So,
yeah.
But then you also, what?
Sorry, you keep going on your thought. Mine's a totally different topic.
Oh, I was just going to say that I think also maybe, I don't think it's like necessarily their intent, but I think it also kind of incentivizes people to go for EA Play Pro, because you can get EA Play Pro for $15, and then you get early access to the game, you get early access to the open beta, and the year one pass. So like, and it's also, I think a year of EA Play Pro is $100. So you get Battlefield 6 with all of its goodies,
get that
and
cheaper than buying the Ultimate.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, and then if you don't want to do that, you just want to buy it for a month just to try it, or a couple months, it's $15 a month. So I don't think they priced it high enough so people went for that, but I think it also is like people are going to come to that conclusion on their own. Like, yeah, maybe I'll,
yeah, like I'd totally do that, because you get
right,
Madden
yeah,
and NHL and all that shit with it. So
I'm sorry, I heard the same game from the past 10 years.
No, I don't.
But yeah,
I don't play an ass ton of Madden. I turn it on here and there, and I have fun. Usually when people come over, but
good to have for parties and stuff. Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, you can sit there and be like, cool, I can buy one game, or I can buy the service for the year and have all this shit, and you
get the best edition of every game too, right? So you get Battlefield 6 Ultimate, and you get whatever extra goodies comes with the other one.
Like my digital art book. Can't wait.
I want to. Hey, listen, I'm a physical guy too, though. Like I want.
I just think it's
shit.
stupid, because here's the thing too. Like, you know how easy, and I'm not telling anybody to go do this, but you know how easy, like the first day that digital art book is going to be available.
It's going to be everywhere,
right?
PDF.
Yeah.
I mean, so
Yeah.
it's just like that's the kind of dumb stuff, and like to be able to like hang something up on like your shelf or something. You
I
know?
want a nice book on my shelf from this game.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for that physical content
Yeah,
too.
no, absolutely. My question is this: like watching the trailer and everything, and seeing like some of the vehicles. Like one of the vehicles pretty much looks like a Cybertruck, like a Tesla Cybertruck with tank treads.
Yeah.
And you kind of see. I mean, you see obviously like, kind of like a laser kind of shit going on with some of the guns. Like I know that there's some like bullets and stuff like that, but there's also, if you look at some of the guns, the way that they fire and across, it's like either everything has like incendiary rounds, or it's like got like a big old light trail behind it. Like, do you think it's too futuristic, or do you think it's okay? Like it's kind of on this weird spot where there's some really, advanced shit there, but then there's also the level where like something like you said, like the Spot or Chappy Dog, as we refer to him, that exists right now.
His name is Ranger, and no one's gonna know that.
Yeah,
they're all gonna forget his
no
name.
one's
Ranger.
gonna know that.
I think they've done a good job because I mean, you look at something like, granted, Cyberpunk 2077 is kind of based more out of that era where Blade Runner and that whole like 100 years in the future from like the 80s. It's like, oh, it's gonna be this crazy world, yada yada yada. Like that was the genre of sci-fi we were in. I think this finds a good balance of being just a little bit futuristic enough that it's reasonable that in 20 years we may have weaponized robot dogs like that's
Jeez.
I mean, fair enough. We have fucking drones. Like,
I hope so.
Yeah, I fuck with that heavy. I think you're right with that. It's not too outlandish.
Right, and I think like the I mean, tracer rounds and stuff like that. I mean, we've had that since Vietnam, so well before even. So that's not even really futuristic. And I think a lot of that is also gamifying it, so you can see bullet trails to some extent and things. But and we don't even know how much that will even be in gameplay, or if it was just to make the trailer look flashier, right?
Just to kind of show that who's getting shot at, kind of thing.
Right, right. But I think they found that perfect balance of a futuristic, but not way the fuck out there where it's like, now we're treading a weird line here.
Right.
I posted to Matt earlier today, and I think I posted it in our chat here, but I also posted it in our Discord where I've noticed that on some of the weapons too, I noticed sights from like Escape from Tarkov. So it's like there's still stuff from today being used, but it's also just stuff that maybe people might not think about when they think of the military now, but they might think of the military 20 years from now. It's like, oh, I could see that that being a mass adopted scope or sight, something like that, right? I could see that. But
a lot of the guns are actually based on like modern day, like realistic platforms of weapons, and
they look
I mean, granted, the M16 has been around for forever as well, so it makes sense that a lot of these guns are still carrying forward because I mean, they're damn good guns, so it's not like they're just going to be retired.
Think of the Kalashnikov, right? That gun, yes, it's got different bodies, it's got different styles to it, but the AK-47 itself has not changed. That gun is a tried and true gun. Yeah, you got the AK-74U, all that. So like, it's. I'd like to see it in a futuristic sense, but still in the same sense that the AK-47 is now, right? Like, I like to see like some bells and whistles put onto it, but I don't want this AK to shoot out knives that also have tracer rounds that also have little bombs, and at the very, very end it says "curfew."
That's
right?
Borderlands.
I don't know. That sounds pretty good for I would like to have something like that if I was in war.
If you're offering me that, then I will 100% take it. But I don't think like when you think of the AK-47. Yeah, exactly. When I think of the AK-47, I think of the classic look of it with the wooden stock and everything like that. But I don't think we're gonna see AK variants or platforms like you said, Brody. But we're not gonna see an AK-47 at all. I don't think we're gonna see an M16 either. I think we're gonna see just the most modern platforms that people like have today.
Your M4s, your various different AUGs,
MCXs is crazy. Yeah, like the shit
like,
that like
vectors, shit like that. Yeah,
that was shown in actually the guy running away from the big part of the cargo container. He was holding a vector. Yeah, so like I think that'll be pretty cool to see. And it's like at the same time, I don't think with how far it is in the future, like at being 2042, I don't want to see I don't want to see any sort of like, I guess, older weapons. I don't want to see AK-47s or M16s. I don't even want to see, like the M14s and stuff like that. I want to see like the newest shit that they have, right?
Yep. Matt,
Yeah.
is there any guns you want to see, buddy?
What?
Look at the chat, you fool.
Oh, I'm just listening, man. I'm sorry. Goddamn, letting you guys talk.
You're the
Oh
Babadook.
goddamn!
I'm
Just
sorry.
The Babadook.
Absolutely staring into one of our souls right now. I'm not sure which screen he's looking at, but he's
Holy
staring
shit.
right
I was
through
looking
us.
at Evan. Evan was talking. I was looking at Evan. I'm sorry.
Incredible.
I appreciate it. Thank you for paying attention.
I don't have like anything that I'm looking forward to in like particular, right? Like it's essentially the same thing you guys have been saying. I want to see like the same guns that we have sort of now, but like the new and improved versions with some cool new fucking things added to it. That's all.
I want to
Like,
see new
I don't know.
foregrips, new suppressors. I want to see all that kind of crazy shit they got.
I still want a
Yeah.
1911 with like a oil filter fucking silencer, and that's it.
I want to
like-
see some cyber shit. I want to see like some hacking some shit, like cybersecurity.
Really?
Like
I don't
cyber
know if
warfare.
I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Personally,
I don't want it to
want
be
that.
too futuristic.
I think
I
that
want-
could be a cool
That's
mode.
fucking now. That's not futuristic. That's now.
I want to see.
Yeah,
Future is
yeah,
now,
it
old
is.
man.
I like Brody's idea though of like I imagine like playing Battlefield 2042 with Brody, and he's got this tricked out like M4. It's got these crazy sights on it. It's like, you got any ammo in that thing? He's like, no, I got a pistol though, and he pulls out this old 1911 that's just got dirt all over it. It's got an old oil filter on it. It's like, where'd you get that from, man?
And then you,
Like,
and
how'd
then you
get-
let
Absolutely
out
will
Ranger,
choose it.
Ranger, your apocalyptic death robot. Dog. It's gonna be a
I lo-
weird one.
I like
But-
he just comes down from the sky too. He just lands. It's like, you better run away from that motherfucker. He's
Yeah.
going to light your ass up. Leave. I think that's sweet.
So to wrap this up, I'm stoked for this. Everybody, quick little blurb before we wrap this one up.
I'm
I'm
fucking
cautious, but I'm
Motley
excited.
Crue.
I am really fucking excited, but like Matt, I am also just a bit cautious because I don't want to get too hyped. Because remember what happened last time? Cyberpunk. Like, not trying to get too excited.
I mean, you can. Sorry, no, go ahead.
Go,
go ahead.
no, go ahead, Matt.
I was just gonna add on to Evan. I've been cautious since like Battlefield 4's launch because that was disastrous.
Well, I mean, yeah, I
So,
agree
like,
with that
since
too.
then,
I was
it's
just
just like,
thinking-
I don't know.
I was thinking about the most recent game that kind of had that taste, but Battlefield games in general as well, yeah, have not had the best of launch.
I mean, most multiplayer games have pretty shitty launches.
That's true.
Nowadays,
So
yeah,
there
they're
is
all
that.
shit,
Yeah, they're all bad. But I feel pretty good about this one. I there is a certain sense of being cautious and cautiously optimistic, I guess.
Right.
But I do think they've done this right to where we knew there was a Battlefield game coming. They waited until June of this year. They gave it an October release date. They've really, to me, it seems like this game is damn near done, ready to fucking ship like tomorrow, basically.
Yeah.
And that
I
they're
wanna clip
putting
that.
some well, but I mean, how often do we hear about games 5 years before they fucking release? Like,
That's
Yeah.
true.
this is the first time we've seen this game. It is what, 4 months? 4
Around
months
4,
away
yeah.
from release, and I don't think
They've
this
got
will
to be
get
pretty
delayed.
confident.
Yeah,
They've gotta
they're
be pretty confident.
they
They're
got
showing
that
the
big
gameplay
dick
in 3
energy
days.
right now. Like,
Yeah.
they're fucking ready to go, and I do think like
Robo
they've
dick.
they've learned. I think there will definitely be some growing pains at launch. I mean,
Yeah.
it's again, multiplayer games always fucking have that, but I do think I'm not saying there's not reason to be cautious, because there's always
Right.
reason to be cautious on fucking game releases. There's always problems, but I think that if they return to the roots and do what they do best, they will be fine and not try to fuck around with too much stupid shit.
I think I agree 100%, right? Like, I think it's going to be cautious. I think it's good to be cautious. I also think it's good to recognize too that with a new Battlefield game after how many years, it's good to have there's going to be growing pains for a lot of players too, right? Getting used to new shit, especially because the last 2 games we played were 1 and 5,
Shit.
which were
mean-
they were shit. Well, no, I'll agree. I'll go with you on that. And then I'll also say they were also World War 1 and World War 2 games. So I mean, people who have been playing that, the most recent titles are also going to be like, oh shit, there are sights, there's lasers, there's foregrips, there's all this other crazy shit, that I can work with, new vehicles. But I think that it's good to be cautious. Like you said, it's a good thing as well to remember that all multiplayer games now have not the best of launches, or like they all kind of start out rough. But
that is one of the problems with having all of our consoles constantly hooked to the internet, because they're like, fuck it, we can release it and patch it later. Like,
that's
back in the day, you couldn't do that shit, right? Like, you get a game on fucking SNES, it's like, well, this better fucking be good, or it's gonna be forgotten forever.
This uses a watch battery to stay alive.
Right.
I think it's also good to recognize too that this is like the longest in the recent Battlefield games. Like, this is the longest they've had to work on a new game. So EA gave them an extra year to work on it, and like the same interview I quoted earlier with that dev from Inverse said the main focus of them right now is getting the game good and getting it ready for launch. That's their only focus. Everything else is done. So like that's what I love too, is they were like, maps are done, weapons are done. We're just tweaking things now, so it's just making sure things run properly. So I mean, we'll know from the technical playtest in July if people go, that shit ran smooth. It's going to be like, oh well, then the beta should, by and large, if the technical playtest works very well, I would assume the beta to work well, and then further refinement would mean the game comes out working pretty well. I'm sure it'll still have bugs and glitches and shit like that, but I hope they're fun. I hope they're like stupid shit, like things that make me laugh, not things that are like, oh,
game breaking,
this menu button doesn't work, or like, oh, my game crashed because the tornado came in, right? Something crazy like that. But if it's like, oh, I called in the tank here, but it dropped on my buddy's Osprey, a mile away. It's like, that'll be funny shit, because it'll be like, oh, that's pretty hilarious. But it's not.
In the tone of goofy shit, we talked about it earlier. I want the goofy, like, quirky reloads to come back, where like the third arm reaches around and like hands you a magazine, and he like fucking looks at it.
Where did I get this from?
Like, what the fuck?
I think
like, those were always
cool,
fun. Or where they like throw the gun away. I think there was like 7 of them. I don't remember any of them at this point, but I think that was Hardline that they did that.
I think so.
But I mean, just
that game, huh?
Yeah,
that was a good game.
Huh?
The campaign was good.
Okay, I'll give you that.
That was the one good Battlefield campaign I can like honestly think of, other than like 3. 3 was okay.
The cops and robbers mode was actually kind of fun.
I liked
just for short periods of time, but
yeah,
it was.
Yeah.
I want there to be the Calibri from Battlefield 1, the tiniest pistol ever made. I want that in Battlefield 1.
Yeah, dude. You just like spin around your hand and shit. It's
a real. I love the fact that it is a real fucking gun that they were like, yeah, let's put this in because there's gonna be some guy who wants to use this. And it was the tiniest little pistol. You held it just like that, just with your thumb and your index finger, and it's like that's how you used it. So like, I want to see the quirky shit like that, where it's like, yeah, we put this in because we thought it would be funny. That's what I think Battlefield did best, when they were like, yeah, we added in to for if you get to level 100 in Battlefield 4, we give you a knife with a bipod on it. It's like just for stupid shit like that. Why not?
That is awesome. All right, well, I guess we're all cautiously optimistic for it, but we're also stoked for it. So I also hate our fucking Discord chat, and I will see everybody later. Bye.